big day at the Synod on Synodality yesterday. Cardinal Zen raising the alarm. Are they about to replace the hierarchy of the church with democracy? Here's the kicker. He's not the only one who seems to think so. In fact, it might be a great number of the Synod delegates themselves think that there is a fast one being pulled in the shadows at the Synod on Synodality. All of those progressive, liberal agenda talking points that we've been discussing, this is how they intend to get those passed. That's what's coming up next. By the way, my name is Joe McClane. I host a radio program called A Catholic Take, where we look at the world through a Catholic lens. I'd love for you to hang out with us. If you like it, give it a thumbs up and let us know what you think in the comments below. Oh, yeah. We've all been distracted, right? Having those conversations about all of those progressive liberal agenda items that they've been trying to play power politics at the Vatican, at the Synod on Synodality, the Amazonian Rite, women's ordination, the Father James Martin New Ways Ministries crowd events that they've lobbied cardinals and the Pope himself. All of those are big items, and we've been discussing all of them. But while we're doing that, while we're like, look, squirrel, we're over there looking at over here, they're going the other way, quietly trying to get something passed that might make it possible to get every single one of their progressive modernist wish list items passed, and there's nothing we can do about it. Cardinal Zen is not the only one raising the alarm. Of course, he's one of those usual suspects. This LifeSite News article says Cardinal Joseph Zen has issued a strong warning about the Synod on Synodality at the persistent division resulting from fiducia supplicans, saying that the future of the church is uncertain unless issues are resolved. But again, he's not the only one. We expect this out of Cardinal Zen. We expect this out of Cardinal Muller and others, of course. But here's an article out of the National Catholic Register by Jonathan Lytle. I think you should read this. I'm going to link to it below, and on your way down, make sure to smash that thumbs up. Do me a favor. Synod Proposal to Decentralize Doctrinal Authority met with major pushback. Check this out. A proposal to decentralize doctrinal authority in the Catholic Church was met with significant pushback Wednesday. During the Synod on Synodality, 3 separate participants told the Register. The pushback took place as delegates considered a proposal in the Synod's Instrumentum Laboris, or the working document, to recognize Episcopal conferences as, quote, as ecclesial subjects endowed with doctrinal authority, assuming socio-cultural diversity within the framework of a multifaceted church. I'm sorry, what was that English? What language was that again? Can you just, is there like a Google translator for something like that so that I can understand it? I mean, is there going to be anybody talking into my ear letting me know what the heck you just said? No, unfortunately, that's just the way they play the game. They throw all this gobbledygook language at you, and it sounds all fancy and intelligent, but I think we can assume that there's something hidden in there that we need to unpack and better understand. According to Synod sources, the document goes on, several delegates from multiple language groups and geographical backgrounds expressed concerns that the move would fracture the church and relativize church teaching. And therein lies the key. One Synod member described the degree of pushback as tremendous. I want you to let that sink in. Just take that in for a moment. Just sit with that. The tremendous pushback from the delegates themselves over this gobbledygook phrase, as ecclesial subjects endowed with doctrinal authority, assuming sociocultural diversity within the framework of a multifaceted church. What does this mean? What they want to do is they want to allow Episcopal conferences to have the ability, without oversight from Rome, to decide how doctrines are implemented at the local level. Because, you know, culture in their local diocese isn't the same as culture in other local dioceses. So therefore, the bishops' conference can all get together and decide, you know what, hey, women should be ordained. You know what, hey, we should marry and divorce people on demand. You know what, hey, priests should be married. You know, hey, we can do all kinds of things now because we can implement doctrine however we see fit based on culture, not based on Jesus Christ remaining the same yesterday, today, and forever, as St. Paul said in the letter to the Hebrews. Oh no, it's all based on how the winds are blowing today. The article goes on. Quote, a majority is clearly opposed, overwhelmingly, close quote, the delegate said, speaking on condition of anonymity. Going on, another delegate told the Register that the concern expressed by the Assembly regarding the proposal was the most forceful yet during this year's Synod session, which started October the 2nd and goes through October the 22nd. Since the Instrumentum Laboris was released in July, theological observers and Synod delegates have told the Register that they see the proposal to give Episcopal conferences doctrinal authority as one of the most critical topics of the entire agenda. This is coming from the organizers of the event, Cardinal Fernandez and the crew. They are trying to get this passed through. Decentralizing doctrinal authority or deciding certain doctrinal questions at local levels rather than universally has been seen as a pivotal step for those aiming to make dramatic changes to Catholic Church teaching. This is sneaky stuff, super sneaky stuff. Now, listen, I'll summarize. I'll let you read all the details for yourself. So they try to sneak this through at the listening sessions, at the group sessions there on the floor. They try to sneak it all through, right? So they're all sitting there, they're all discussing this, and they got tremendous pushback, and they were surprised. They did not expect that. They thought this would sail straight through. They'd be able to pass this, and they could all just move on to all of those wonderful modernist talking points that they were hoping to get passed. But when they caught that, they didn't like it. They didn't want this. Well, what did they do? They bring in a closer. Oh, yeah. They try to double down. It says the pushback was so significant that it seems to have prompted the Synod organizers to make the unprecedented move of having a theological expert at the Synod. Father Giles Ruthier gave an impromptu presentation after the morning break before the whole assembly in an attempt to clarify the proposal and assuage concerns. Hey guys, come on now. It's not what you think. Oh no, this is good stuff. We need this. You need to pass this. In fact, it goes on. One delegate called this highly unusual and said that it took me aback because the bishops and the other Synod delegates had already expressed their views on this issue. They didn't want it, they didn't like it, and the organizers were doubling down. No, we really got to do this. Delegates, it goes on, who spoke to the Register said that the French-Canadian theologian's presentation seemed to satisfy some in the assembly, but that they still had their concerns. One Synod source said that the Father Ruthier's argument that local councils had always had doctrinal authority in the Church's tradition raised concerns about why the proposal to extend that authority to Episcopal conferences was even needed at all. If you've already got this ability, why do we need to say it again? I mean, what are we even talking about? Clearly you don't have this ability, or else you wouldn't be asking for it. Now, isn't that right? It goes on. Another Synod member expressed concern that Father Ruthier seemed to imply that the doctrinal authority a bishop's conference would have would be, quote, based on the hierarchy of truths, possibly implying that while some central dogmas would be maintained by the Church's universal teaching authority in Rome, local conferences would be able to teach authoritatively in other areas. Exactly which areas would those be? Where would they be specified? What is the means by which they'll be specified? When and where is it appropriate to do so? When does Rome get to lay down its authority and law over these authoritative areas in the local communities? This delegate said that they expect organizers to take pushback against the proposal into an account when drafting the Synod's final document. Into an account, I mean, that means they could still do this. Even if the majority of delegates don't like it, it might not stop them after all. If not, quote, then I would feel honestly that we're being manipulated by these theologians. I don't know. Doug seems to come to mind to me. I think we've been feeling manipulated for quite some time now, which is why knuckleheads like me, we're pushing back. Now, my opinion and a nickel will get you nowhere. But I got to tell you, they're pulling fast ones in the shadows at night, and we need to be paying attention, and we shouldn't put up with it. We need to sound the alarm right alongside Cardinal Zen and all of those delegates there that are doing the same. What say you? Leave your comment below, because I want to know. Did you like that video? It's okay. You can admit it. It's perfectly fine. Hey, we cover the big stories of our day, from inside the church to outside the church to all points in between, and we do it from a Catholic perspective. It's called A Catholic Take. It's a radio program Monday through Friday. We live stream it right here on this channel, by the way, so make sure to subscribe, like, and share. We would be very grateful to you. And don't forget, you're going to want to watch this video right here because you don't want to miss anything.